Hi everyone, welcome to the video today. Thank you for joining me. It really means a lot, and I appreciate your time you spent today just viewing my video, because time is precious, and time is all we have, and it's very precious, so use it wisely. It's been a while since I've done a model railway video, so this is going to be my first model railway video for a long time. Please do hit the like and subscribe button, that will be much appreciated. The backstory, why am I doing a model railway video today? Well, to be quite honest, just over a year ago, my family and I, we moved out. We had to move out of our house because the landlord decided he wanted to get out because he wanted to sell, which later turned out to be a complete tissue of lies. Anyway, I'm not on about that. What I want about today is the fact that I miss my model railway, because that's one of the things I had to give up. I had a 9x5 layout called Bentley Park, and if you want to check that layout out, just go to the channel that you're watching this on now and just scroll through my videos, and you'll see all the videos of my layout from when it first started to the last few days of operation. And to be honest with you guys, it really hit me mentally and emotionally, because during COVID, when we had that time when we had to stay at home, we couldn't do anything, that was one of the things that kept me going. That and my faith and my family just kept me going. So this is something I'm very pleased and joyfully proud to announce today, that I'm getting back into the hobby after a very long time. I know there's been some of you that have followed my channel that have sent me very warm wishes and don't give up, and there were moments in my life hobby wise when I did feel like it was all over, but recently again, when you're passionate about something, an idea or a hobby, it just chips away at your heart every day until you finally give in and start putting that into reality. So I'm going to build another layout, and it's going to be a 6x4. It's going to be a very scenic layout. It's going to be semi-portable, which means it can be lifted off the bed, or it can be set on the dining table when in use. And it's going to be very scenic. It's not going to have loads of buildings and stuff on it which can get broken, because it's got to be leaned up against the wall when I'm not using it. But in terms of tunnels and hills, it's going to definitely have those on it. And I've already worked out the track plan. I've worked out what it's going to look like. I just need to sort out the baseboard construction resources, and obviously the important thing is some track. So to run a model railway, you need track, obviously, to run the trains on. And that's something, sadly, that I had to lose 97% of when I scrapped the old layout, because the track had been down there for just on 10 years plus, and it had just got so sunk into its track bed with glue and ballast and everything, and it just, you couldn't even prise it away from the baseboard. It had to go. Anyway, fast forward to September 2022, September 10th to be precise, which was just a week ago. I had my birthday, and I asked my family, could you chip in, not buy me anything, but just give me the cash instead to chip in towards something I want for my birthday that I saw on eBay. And this is what I got for my birthday, and I'm so joyfully excited to share this with you today. It is a train set, but not just any train set, it's the Hornby Evening Star. Now this is a very limited edition train set, for many reasons. Number one, it's actually commissioned by Marks and Spencer's. If I just zoom in the shot there, I'll show you. Marks and Spencer's. Now, Marks and Spencer's, what is Marks and Spencer's? Well, if you don't live in the UK, or you live overseas like in America, Marks and Spencer's is quite a posh shop. Does fantastic food, some nice clothes, and some good homeware, and just general things in general. But they also do a line of train sets, or they used to, and they've stopped doing it now, I think. But back in 2004, they commissioned Hornby, which are the leading model railway manufacturers in the UK, to make a train set. One was the Royal Train previously, and it done so well that the brand Marks and Spencer's asked Hornby, could you make us another one? So this is the result. So this is what I got for my birthday, as mentioned. Why did I want to get one of these for my birthday? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a collectible set because it's by Marks and Spencer's. Normally it says Hornby on the front of the packaging, and even though it's made by Hornby, the fact that it's a Marks and Spencer's set is very collectible. Number two, it's got a locomotive that I don't have, which is the Evening Star, which is a 9F class locomotive, built by British Railways in 1960 as the last ever steam locomotive to be built by British Railways for this country. And it was built primarily that it would only have a couple of years in service, then it would go straight into preservation, unlike the rest of mainline steam that was just cut up and axed up and just got rid of straight away when the diesels took over. So basically it's an engine that I didn't have, a locomotive I didn't have, and also it's got track. It's build a model railway, you need track. So I thought this is a great start off because it will go towards the parts that I need to build my new 6x4 layout, which makes sense. When I saw this, when this was advertised on eBay and I looked at the listing itself, the seller said that it was mint condition and it had never been opened, never been taken out of the box, never been run, never been tested. It was just as was. So when I saw the photographs of it, I thought, oh, this is too good to pass up. Unfortunately, if you can see that on here, I'll just zoom in, I'll show you guys this. Hang on, whoa, hang on. There we are. If you can see that price tag there, it says £119. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get it for £119, but whatever the price I paid for it, I was quite happy because, again, it's a rarity, it's mint condition, never been opened, never been used, and it also comes with a very interesting little pair of men's cufflinks that come with it, which I'll show you in a minute when you get out of the box. But very strangely, there was two defects with this when I actually opened it up. So when I actually took it out of the box, removed the plastic seal that was over the top, I found some shocking discoveries, which I'll share with you in a moment. So what I'm going to do now, I'll just pause the video. If you go and get yourselves a tea or a coffee or a beverage of your choice, so whatever you've got to do, make yourselves comfortable. I'll be back in a tick, and then we'll take this out of the box and have a proper look at it. Okay? See you in a moment. Okay, so we've got it out of the box and we'll have a little look at this, and then I'll take the locomotive out of the box as well, so again we can have a more closer inspection. But just we'll start off with looking at the contents. This is what you get when you slide the outer box packaging off and you look inside. You get this really nice mint condition train set, and as you can see, it's absolutely mint condition. So the track is in great, it's never been used, so it's mint condition obviously. You get enough to form a large oval. There's two sets of points in there, left and a right hand point, that you can make up two sidings from off the main line, or a siding off the main line with another siding, which is great. You get buffer stops there. You get the old style power connecting clips. One of the better transformers that Hornby manufactured, train controllers. The ones that you get in the train sets now, they're horrible, those cheap, nasty plastic train controllers that don't last 5 seconds. But these ones were the better ones. I say this actual set was manufactured in 2004, so that's a 2003/4 train controller. Obviously you get the power adapter with it, and these lovely coaches as well, and also the locomotive. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to again pause this just for a second, and we'll get the locomotive out of the box because I've got some stories to tell you about this locomotive, so bear with me. Right, welcome back. So I've turned the camera around the other way, so obviously it's easier for me to talk to you and do this at the same time. But as you're looking at the shot, you're looking towards me, so on my viewfinder everything's upside down, so I hope I get this in the right order. Anyway, I just wanted to quickly show you this as well. It came with the train set. It's basically the standard Gumpf instructions, owner's manual, and it's got the plasticky track mat template that you can basically glue on a piece of wood, and you can lay the track in exactly the same space as it's got printed on the diagram, and it shows you where to place things. I've never actually used one of these. I don't intend to use one of these. I like to go freestyle once I've got the track in place, as you would have seen from my previous layout. Anyway, it's nice, it's all sealed, it's all collectible, and it's got a nice little fold out of the different locos and stuff available at the time. You could buy from Hornby, most of which now are obsolete from production but can be sourced on sites like eBay. Do some great bargains, as you've seen so far. Anyway, I'll just put this to one side. But now is what you all wanted to see the video for out there. It's the Evening Star loco itself. So without further ado, here she is in all her glory. I'll just put the tender together so we can see. There we go, look at that. Isn't that lovely? Okay, I'll take the camera off the tripod in a sec so we can go down for a on the ground view, as it were, of the locomotive. But before we do that, this is something I want to discuss very importantly about Mazacrot. Now, this is what I discovered. So if I take the camera off the tripod as mentioned now, and we bring this over to the shop, I can show you exactly what I was talking about, so stay tuned. Okay, so welcome back. So here is 92220 Evening Star. It's a 9F class locomotives, which meant that it was designed purely intentionally for freight train working, but they put these trains on passenger trains because they were so fast and so powerful, and a great designer locomotive. But sadly, they never actually saw their potential. As about 1960 onwards, all the 9Fs were either scrapped or just sold to preservation, or just got rid of. At the North Norfolk Railway, you've got Black Prince, which is the same type of locomotive you see before you. But this is my favourite, and I've never actually owned this particular locomotive, Evening Star. Always wanted one of these, so I'm quite happy to get one. First off the bat, as you can see from the camera shot, that it's a very long looking locomotive. Those of you not familiar with the 9F locomotives, and they are very impressive looking machines. They used to call them spaceships on the account of the space between the wheels and the actual body. There's a daylight gap. In real life they had that. This is just a model version of the full-size prototype, so everything on it's pretty accurate. The paint finish is very crisp, as you can see. Let me just bring this in slightly so you can have a better look at this. It's a beautiful looking machine, and if you're familiar with 9F steam engines, this one is very, very accurate. It's a pretty good rendition. If you see that big white bulky thing in the cab, that's the actual polystyrene that I haven't taken out yet, that I intend to leave in there until I actually run it, just to preserve and keep it clean and damage free in there, just in case. That's just me. But there is some cab glazing in there, as you can see. That's a nice touch that Hornby have put some cab glazing in there, because prior to this, when they had the old Hornby Triangle Britannias, and certainly the 9Fs, they never had the cab glazing. This one does, which is nice to see. Anyway, that's the overall loco. Let's look at the front. Oops, excuse me. Looking at the front, again, the paint finish on there is lovely. There's space for a vacuum pipe and a little hole next to the coupling hook. There is a coupling supplied with that. And what it's basically, it's got a hole for a screw, but this one doesn't have a screw hole on the actual front bogie assembly. So what you have to do is 2 very fine dabs of super glue, one there, and attach it to the front if you wish to. I think I'm going to leave mine off, to be honest with you. I like it as it is. Looking down the top of the loco from above, one of the things I noticed that, again, me being the perfectionist, is the chimney. Don't say funnels, whatever you do, as that insults us steam men, because only ships have funnels, locomotives have a chimney. So this is a double chimney on this 9F class, and the thing that really irritates me, and I'm going to resist all I can to do it, is to bore out those holes with a fine drill bit so they look as though they do something and go somewhere. That looks too toy trainy-fied to me, being sealed up like that. Why on earth don't they just bore the holes when they make these things, so at least you've got scope to put a smoke unit inside, or just to visually give you the impression that it is a working chimney. But anyway, apart from that, everything else on it is lovely, and I'm very pleased with it. Nice brass safety valves there on top. I've got a couple of versions of these. I've got the Crosty boiler, the experimental type. I've got the Bachmann version, which is nice, and I've got the Hornby Railroad version, which looked like this, but only it was in black, and it was my first ever locomotive that I used and airbrushed and weathered very heavily. But this I'm not going to touch. I'm going to leave this as it is, because it comes with the set and it's collectible and it's as is. So overall, it's a very, very smart looking loco. Nice paint job, everything on it is decent, and nothing you wouldn't expect anything less from Hornby. The tender, I'll just uncouple this with my free hand if I can. Actually, I might need to actually turn it on its side. Easy, wouldn't it? That's it. And I can just unclip that. There we go, that's free from there. Apologies for that. So, looking at underneath the tender and the locomotive, one of the things that I noticed about this particular model was that this is the old style tender drive version, which means the motor is actually in here, and this is a free rolling item, whereas now all Hornby locomotives are driven from the actual locomotive as per prototype, which makes it perform and look much better. But what was the shock and horror thing that I discovered? Well, I'll show you in a minute. As you can see, I've not run this, by the way. It's not been run, so the wheels are clean, everything's in mint condition, as you can see there. Okay, let me just put this down and I'll join you in a moment. Okay, apologies for cutting the camera short all the time, but I just don't want to drag the camera all about the place, making all the screenshots all wobbly and look unprofessional with the camera flying about at all angles, and I prefer to stop it and start it like this. Anyway, on the front here you can see this this front pony truck assembly with a single wheel. This was not on the model when I opened the box. Well, it actually was, but I'll show you what was on the model when I opened it up, and then you'll see why I was very, very dissatisfied and very, very worried. Because what was on the actual model was this. As you can see, there's the old Mazzacrot, the dreaded zinc pest. So that was on the front there. Now, what is Mazzacrot, you may ask? Well, I'll explain to you very quickly what Mazzacrot is. It's a horrible, horrible metal fatigue disease, and what it is, if I just put that like that so you can see it, basically Hornby back in the day, their factory was based in Margate, Kent in England, and everything they made that came out of there was absolutely 100% quality. There was no Mazzacrot and there was no damage to the stuff when you bought it. It was just, you trusted in the brand of Hornby. When you were given a Hornby train set, provided you treated it with reasonable care and attention, it would last you a lifetime. That was their guarantee, and it still stands today. What happened was, in around about, I think 1992, Hornby ceased operations in Margate in Kent, and they transferred all their manufacturing operations overseas to China. And that is when things started to go drastically, excuse the pun, off the rails, because their casting process over there to make these cast parts became very poor. And what happens with Mazokrot is, the way Mazokrot is formed is that during the zinc alloy casting process, if the quality of the zinc alloy materials are not 100% and they're cheap, what happens is that when the cast is formed, the molecules react to room temperature, whether it be a humid or a low temperature in a room. And over a period of time, you can see that in the light. Can you see that on the camera, all that patterning? I'll just zoom in with the camera so you can see what I'm talking about. And that's a bit too much, but there you go. I've got the lights on in the room here, I'm filming, so you can see, if you can see that pattern on the paintwork, that black pattern, that's called that cracked pattern, basically, that's Mazokrot. That gives you an indication. So what happens is, when you go to take your locomotive or item out of the box to run it on your layout, and you see that, the first thing you normally see is something's broken off, because it's quite brittle. And I'll show you how brittle it is. If I take this and all of a sudden I do that, just apply a little bit of pressure, and there you are. You saw that and you heard that. It breaks like a bar of chocolate. It's horrible. That's nasty, and you can see the impurities already there on the camera shot. Look, that's just nasty. And I could sit here all day and break, and just fiddle with it and break bits off it. Yeah. It's frightening. It's very frightening indeed. It's a bit gone there. It's there. Right. Okay. So yeah, Mazokrot. These little bits gone. Bring out the shot there. So that's what happens. It just disintegrates. And I've had a couple of Hornby locos that had the same problems. Luckily, not with the chassis, because I've seen videos on YouTube where people have got, like, for example, I think it was a Patriot or a Royal Scot class locomotive, steam engine, and they've horrifically discovered cracks in the main chassis and all over the underrunning bits and pieces of the train. And it's quite frightening. It's also very it's quite disturbing when you've paid a lot of money for a locomotive, or someone's bought it for your birthday or Christmas or as a gift, and you cherish that locomotive and you take it out of the box with excitement to put it on the track to run on your train and couple it up to a train formation, only to find the thing is disintegrated in your hands. It's not funny, and it's also very unnerving. However, moving forward, I think as of the last couple of years, the Mazokrot process has been, well, not process, but the Mazokrot problem has been reduced and solved, because Hornby have obviously sat bolt upright in their seats and thought, oh, this is going to damage our brand, we need to sort this out straight away. So in fairness, from the stories I've heard, Hornby have offered replacements. For example, their Class 31 diesel locomotive was the worst culprit for Mazokrot. And there's, like, if you just Google up Mazokrot Hornby on Google, or even on here on YouTube, you'll see loads of videos about Mazokrot. There's a couple of good ones there. Sam's Trains do a good one. Also Walls Rail does a good one about how to solve that problem. Anyway, for my video today, I'm just showing you the horrific discovery that I found when I opened up the box, and I got this 9F out, and that was the first thing that fell off was this, and it was just quite disturbing. But anyway, the good thing was, moving forward, we actually sourced a brand new replacement front pony track, and that's good. That one's a good one. And actually, believe it or not, ironically, as you saw from my YouTube videos recently, before the summer ended, my wife and daughter and I, we went down to Broadstairs for the day, to Viking Beach, and got absolutely sunburnt. Just round the corner from Margate, and this came from a seller of model railway spare parts in Margate, so that's quite appropriate that it should go back on there. Anyway, so that's the locomotive sorted out. The other problem that we had, or I had, when I opened up this locomotive was not only did the front pony truck disintegrate in my hands, but also something fell out into the box from the tender, and I'll show you what it was. But it's a very, very, very simple fix, and I'll show you exactly what it was. If I just insert my screwdriver here, gently prise off the tender body, I'll show you what it was. If we lift this up, take that carefully off. That small cog, that brass cog you can see in your shop there with my screwdrivers pointing to, that brass cog engages with these two gear wheels, and that brass cog is attached to a shaft that goes through the armature of the motor through here, and obviously the motor turns the cog turns the gear wheels, and obviously they give you traction underneath the wheels. What I noticed was this had fallen off. This had come loose, and it actually was completely fallen off. The gear itself, I checked, was completely fine, brand new, nothing wrong. I think what had happened was it just got detached for some reason. My guess is that this whole set had been in storage for a very, very, very long time. It's 19 years old, this entire set. So obviously the guy who owned it before had never run it, just kept it in storage, and obviously through time it just had fallen off. But all I've done, a very simple fix, and I'm going to share, obviously if you haven't seen it before, loads of videos on YouTube how to do this. I even done one myself somewhere. But all you do is take a very, very fine dab of super glue and just put it on the shaft, and then gently press the cog into place, but make sure you don't get any glue on the actual gear teeth of the cog itself, or already glue in this area. You want it on the shaft only, a very fine amount, and then I just generally put it flat down like that, and then just put a flathead screwdriver over the top, larger screwdriver, thus so, and then just press down with an external force very gently and pushed it into place, and that way it's on there for life now, that won't come off. And just make sure obviously that it engages with the gear wheel, so it obviously turns the motor, and then when it's dry, in a few moments, apply some power. I used a 9-volt battery, those big square chunky batteries with the 2 prongs on the end. That works great to apply power to the 2 contact prongs there, and then just power it. But that is absolutely in mint running condition now, and it's also been lubricated and oiled. I gave it a drop of oil on there, these 2 wiper plates here, the gear cogs themselves, and then obviously the axle bearings underneath either side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But don't over flood the thing with oil. You're going to need a fine amount. I stress the word fine amount. Do not over flood it. And also in the reverse action, don't put a load of oil, but put a standard blob of oil on that bearing. That's very important because it transfers to the shaft inside the armature, and it basically keeps that lubricated. But don't, whatever you do, get any oil inside the motor. You don't want that. So it's just there, as mentioned. But this is the Chinese ring-filled motor, manufactured in China, and performance-wise, it's very good. So all you do is we'll put that body back on like that. That goes in there. That is just going to engage with that on there. Just got to make sure you get this on right. There we go. Just clipped in place there and there. Okay. there we go. So yeah, that was really all that was wrong with it. Just needed brand new pony truck. I think I ordered that on the something like a Tuesday, and it came yesterday. It's very, very quick, because they said it'd come by Tuesday next week. Obviously, because of the Queen's funeral, nothing being open on Monday, I was expecting that to come Tuesday, but no, it came yesterday. So I was straight away, I was on that, and a happy chappy. So that's that. There's mine. I love that colour, that British Railways green colour. It's a lovely colour. So moving on to this, onto the set. Should we have a look at one of the coaches before I go? Yeah, why not? Come on then. Let's go over here. Let's have a look at one of the coaches. I'm going to pick this one out of the box because they are very nice. These are lovely coaches. This is the brake coach and brake third. Nice amount of detail on there. That's the guards compartment. All the luggage goes. That's where the guard sits on the train. That's just a hair on there, not a scratch, just in case you thought there was a scuff on there. But as I said, in terms of mint condition, I'd say they were 98% right about this set. Beautiful coaches. I haven't actually got these. Well, I actually have a Lima versions that I weathered, but these are nice. And the only other ones that I've got of these is what came with the Tornado set I've got. So these will run nice. Nice detail on there. Those are pretty decent coaches. You can't go wrong with those. It's a nice roof rivet detail on the top there with the roof bands. So as you can see, if I just move this forward, we'll just couple this up, just so you can visually see what it looks like behind that. So yeah, that's going to look good when it's in formation, when it gets running. Let's look at the Let's look at the couplings. Let's look at the cufflinks, shall we? That's an interesting thing. If we just look at those as well, I'll just bring those into shot. Hang on. They slip out of my hands. Right. These are the cufflinks that you get. These are nice. Look at these. And that's a nice touch. Definitely a nice touch from Marks and Spencer's stroke Hornby. I don't intend to use these, even though I'm not aware of shirts or formal dress shirts. These are definitely collectible. I'm going to keep them, and maybe one day I will wear them. But knowing me, I'd be too frightened to wear them in case you got knocked or scuffed on something at a dinner table or whatever. But they look alright anyway. So I just was checking the Mazak rot. No, I think those are okay. They're nice, aren't they? It's not often you get something like that with a train set. That's a nice little touch. And being the Swindon Makers Plate as well, where the Evening Star was built in 1960 at Swindon by British Railways. So that's a nice little touch. All to do with the centenary, to do with the 2004 centenary, which was very good. Anyway, I'll put those back in there like that. Like that. Put those back in the box in a minute, put everything away. Anyway, folks, that's it. That's, the fan is blowing the tissue paper away. That's it. That's for my review of the Hornby Evening Star 2004 train set, what I got for my birthday recently. Like I said, I'm working it on a 6x4 layout. I've got some track towards it now at least, and the great thing about it is as well, as a little sideline comment, is that a couple of my train sets I've got up in the top of the wardrobe in my bedroom, I've actually got some track left in it, brand new track that I have never actually used, and also some very good quality track that I managed to recycle from the previous layout that's in mint condition. So I'm going to use that, and basically that will cut down on the amount of track that I'm actually going to need for the track plan. It's only going to be a, sort of a medium-sized track plan, but it's going to be something I'll be able to run this on, and when it does take shape, it's definitely going to be full steam ahead for loads of videos. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the update, and it gives me a little bit of positive confidence now that I'm getting back into the hobby. Maybe not the grand scale that I used to do it, but I'll certainly be able to do some running videos, certainly loads of construction videos of making the actual layout. And I think the old idea of starting to buy trains again has come to mind. That joy of getting something from eBay in the post and opening it up and servicing in it and cleaning it and running it on the layout and showing you guys, I miss those things. Anyway, just an old sentimentalist at 48. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching the video today. I really do appreciate it, and it's been so nice having you with me virtually. And I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to get something to drink because I'm gasping. And I'll see you soon in the next one. Stay safe, God bless, and thanks for joining me once again. And I'll talk to you soon and see you soon. All the best, bye bye.